My fiancé walked into our engagement party with another woman on his arm, announced he was leaving me for her, and expected everyone to just accept it. His mother's response. She cut him off completely, introduced me to her secret son, and when I said he was too young, she slapped a stack of property deeds on the table and offered me her own brother instead. If you love jaw-dropping family drama and the most satisfying karma you'll ever witness, hit subscribe to Lotus Tale Studios right now because this story has twists you won't see coming. Trust me, you'll want to follow for more unbelievable tales like this one. Marcus and I met in college. He was studying sports management and I was in business administration. I fell for his charm and easy smile, and he said he loved my confidence and ambition. By junior year, we were serious enough to meet each other's families. Marcus's father had passed away when he was young, leaving his mother, Patricia, to raise him alone while building a successful real estate empire. She was formidable, elegant, and surprisingly warm. Our first meeting went better than I could have imagined. Patricia practically pushed Marcus aside so we could talk, and we clicked instantly. She had this infectious energy and sharp wit that made me feel like I'd known her for years. We spent hours chatting about everything from business to fashion while Marcus sat there looking mildly confused. The year we graduated, Patricia wasted no time. She invited me to dinner and announced she was planning a grand engagement party for Marcus and me. Then she asked me to come work at her company, saying my business degree was exactly what she needed. She'd worked hard all her life, she explained, and it was time to let the next generation take over. She was only in her early 50s but talked about retirement like she couldn't wait to hand over the reins. Patricia was stunning for her age. When we went out together, people often thought we were sisters, which made her laugh with delight every time. Growing up in foster care, I never knew what having a real mother felt like. But if I could have chosen one, I would have chosen Patricia in a heartbeat. She made me feel valued, seen, and loved in a way I'd never experienced before. The engagement party arrived faster than I expected. Everything was beautiful, the venue was decorated perfectly, and I felt like I was floating on air. Then Marcus showed up with a woman I'd never seen before. From the moment she walked in, Patricia's expression changed. Her smile became tight, her eyes hard. But Marcus seemed completely oblivious to his mother's reaction. He introduced the woman cheerfully. "This is Vanessa, my desk partner from high school. I ran into her downstairs and thought it would be nice if she joined us. Vanessa, this is Claire. She's pretty stubborn, so I usually call her Brick. Can you believe it?" He introduced his fiancé by making fun of me. I shot him an annoyed look, then glanced at Vanessa. She was covering her mouth, giggling, her cheeks flushed as she gazed at Marcus with obvious affection. And Marcus was looking right back at her with the same tender expression. If it weren't for the massive banner proclaiming "Congratulations Marcus and Claire on your engagement," I would have thought this party was for them instead. Patricia noticed too. She stared at Marcus with a smile that didn't reach her eyes and said in a voice dripping with ice, "Son, do you understand what kind of event this is? How could you bring just anyone here?" I'd never heard Patricia speak so harshly before. It was clear she not only knew Vanessa but had serious issues with her. Vanessa immediately put on a wounded expression, her eyes filling with tears. "Quinn, today is your special day. I really shouldn't have come. This is all my fault. I'll leave right now." Marcus frowned at his mother. "There are plenty of empty seats. Since Claire grew up in foster care and doesn't have family to invite, having Vanessa here shouldn't be a problem." My blood ran cold. Patricia squeezed my hand gently, silently telling me to stay calm. When she didn't argue, Marcus took it as permission and eagerly seated Vanessa right beside him. Vanessa tugged on Marcus's sleeve and whispered just loud enough for everyone to hear, "Marcus, your girlfriend looks upset. Did I make her angry? Maybe I should go after all. I don't want to cause problems between you two because of me, your ex." That's when I realized this woman wasn't just some random classmate. She was Marcus's ex-girlfriend, and he'd brought her to our engagement party and sat her right next to him. Was he trying to get himself killed? I couldn't hold back. "Don't go now. Since you're already here, you might as well stay and watch your ex-boyfriend celebrate his happiness." Vanessa's eyes immediately welled up with tears. Patricia ignored her completely and announced that the banquet would begin. Most of the guests were business associates and company employees since neither family had many relatives. Throughout the evening, conversations centered around work and business deals. Unable to contribute, Vanessa and Marcus ended up chatting intimately in their own little world, their heads close together, discussing something that brought tears to both their eyes. Their gazes were locked in a way that made everyone uncomfortable. Patricia's expression cycled through anger, shock, and disappointment. As the party wound down, the guests started chanting for Marcus and me to kiss. Marcus glanced reluctantly at Vanessa before stepping toward me. Just as he was about to give me what would clearly be a perfunctory peck, a soft sob echoed through the hall. Marcus flinched and pulled away. Below the stage, Vanessa was crying, tears streaming down her face, gazing at Marcus with unmistakable love and longing. Marcus couldn't take it anymore. He turned to me and declared loudly, "Claire, I'm sorry. I've realized I can't let go of Vanessa. I can't marry you. The engagement is off." The room fell silent. I closed my eyes, feeling like my head was about to explode. "Marcus, we've been together for 3 years. We're supposed to get married. How can you stand here in front of everyone and say you can't let go of another woman? What am I to you? Just something disposable?" Guilt flashed across Marcus's face before Vanessa rushed over, sobbing dramatically. "Marcus, you can't do this. I never meant to hurt anyone. I don't know how things got so complicated. Claire, please don't misunderstand. Marcus and I aren't what you think. Don't blame him. It's all my fault." She grabbed Marcus's hand tightly and pleaded. "Claire is actually really wonderful. She just misunderstood us. Please don't be angry with her, okay?" Marcus pulled Vanessa into his arms, his face full of affection. "It's not your fault. I should have realized my feelings sooner." Seeing the triumph flash in Vanessa's eyes made me sick. I wanted to march over there and kick them both. But Patricia beat me to it. She walked up to Marcus, her eyes cold as ice, and said, "I'll ask you one last time. Are you choosing Vanessa even if it means you lose all inheritance rights?" Vanessa's expression changed, and she opened her mouth to speak, but one sharp look from Patricia silenced her. Marcus paused, then nodded firmly. "Mom, you don't need to test me. My feelings for Vanessa are real. I won't be separated from her again." Patricia gave him a long, meaningful look before stepping onto the stage. She announced solemnly, effective immediately, "Claire will assume the position of company general manager. We look forward to everyone's continued support." Marcus stood frozen while Vanessa's face went pale. Before I could process what was happening, Patricia took my hand and led me away from the party. Outside, I finally found my voice. "Patricia, Marcus, and I are finished. It's not appropriate for me to stay with the company, and I definitely can't become general manager. Her son had just dumped me in front of everyone. I certainly couldn't stick around." Patricia shot me a displeased glance. "What nonsense is that? Call me Mom." My face burned with embarrassment. This was so awkward. "Mom." She burst into laughter. "That foolish boy has no taste. He doesn't want a wonderful woman like you, but I'm not like him. Whether my son wants you or not doesn't matter. You're staying. That scheming girl thinks she can steal my son and get my family fortune. She's dreaming. I'd rather donate every penny than let that family of leeches get a cent." On the drive home, Patricia told me the whole story about Vanessa. Turns out Marcus had dated her in high school. At first, Patricia hadn't thought much of it, but then Marcus started spending money at an alarming rate. He'd gone from spending maybe $10,000 a month to blowing through $100,000 in a single day. Worried her son was heading down a dangerous path, Patricia investigated and discovered all that money was going to Vanessa. Even though Patricia had money, nobody's cash grows on trees. And a girl as young as Vanessa having such an appetite for expensive things was a red flag. Being cautious, Patricia had someone look into Vanessa's family, and what she found was disturbing. Vanessa's father was a drunk who gambled and cheated. Her mother was lazy and entitled. Her brother was a troublemaker who smoked and drank despite being underage. As for Vanessa herself, despite her delicate appearance, she was manipulative and had caused problems for several other students at school using her tears and impressive acting skills. When Patricia realized what was happening, she made a decisive move. She transferred Marcus to a strict private boarding school where students couldn't leave campus or bring phones. She ruthlessly cut off the young couple's relationship. I nodded, understanding now why Patricia favored me so much. Compared to Vanessa, anyone would look good. Still, Marcus was her biological son, and I was just someone who used to date him. Staying seemed inappropriate in the long run. Patricia seemed to read my mind. She patted my arm mysteriously. "Don't worry. I've decided you're going to be my daughter-in-law. No one else will do." My face tensed. "Mom, you're not expecting me to try to win Marcus back from Vanessa, are you? I can't do that. There are plenty of good men in the world. I refuse to waste my time on Marcus." "What nonsense are you thinking? Even if that fool came crawling back on his knees, I wouldn't let you take him. I'm not talking about Marcus. I mean my other son." "What? Isn't Marcus an only child?" Turns out my dear Patricia was full of surprises. The moment we walked through the door, she produced another son out of thin air. A young, handsome guy stood in the living room, and we found ourselves staring at each other in mutual confusion. He was definitely handsome and undeniably young. Those clear, earnest eyes and smooth skin practically screamed that he was barely out of his teens. Patricia gave the young man a hearty pat on the shoulder that made him wince. "What are you standing there for? Say hello." The young man cleared his throat nervously. "Hello, I'm Jordan. Nice to meet you." With my face burning red, I turned to Patricia. "Does Marcus know he has a younger brother?" Patricia waved her hand dismissively. "He's not my child with Marcus's father, so Marcus doesn't need to know." "Let me explain. When Marcus was little, my company was just starting, and I worked constantly. By the time I found out my husband had reconnected with his ex-girlfriend, she was already pregnant. I was furious, but before I could decide what to do, my husband died in a car accident with his ex. They both died instantly. Marcus was devastated, and I realized he'd been told this woman might become his new mother. The whole situation was a mess. A few years later, I reconnected with someone I'd cared about in my youth. We started dating seriously, and Jordan is our son. He's been living with his father, but now that he's starting college here, I thought it was time for him to come home." I stood there speechless while Jordan's face turned bright red. "Mom, is this really something I need to hear right now? I'm just a kid." Patricia smacked him again, making him yelp. "Listen carefully. Claire is my chosen daughter-in-law. You'd better treat her well. If you dare act like your ignorant brother, I'll make you regret it." Jordan shivered and looked at me with panic in his eyes. I cleared my throat, looking at the young man who couldn't be more than 18 or 19, my face flushing deeper. "Mom, maybe you should think about whether you have any other sons. Jordan is lovely, but I really can't. He's way too young." Before Patricia could respond, Jordan was shaking his head frantically and making desperate gestures at me. Patricia ignored him, looking determined. She'd come to the family estate today to collect all the property deeds stored there. As she explained it, Marcus was foolish enough that Vanessa might sweet-talk him into handing everything over, so she needed to secure everything immediately. Now, as she sorted through stack after stack of deeds, she muttered, "There definitely aren't any other sons, and it's too late to have another one now. What should I do about that scumbag Marcus?" Jordan and I exchanged glances, both staying quiet. Suddenly, Patricia slammed a property deed on the table with a loud crack. Her eyes lit up with inspiration. "I have it. This one is guaranteed to satisfy you. Oh my dear Patricia, what else have you been hiding from us? If you can't be my daughter-in-law, you can be my sister-in-law instead. Just wait. I'll call my brother right now so you two can meet." I fled the room in a panic. Over the next few days, both Patricia and I were incredibly busy. I was learning the ins and outs of running the company while she was determined to introduce me to her brother at every possible moment. I'd just finished a meeting with the marketing manager when Patricia appeared at my side. "That young man is quite handsome, but my brother is even better. He's got great looks, an amazing build, and is incredibly successful. The number of women who've chased him could fill a stadium." The finance director handed me a report and politely explained some key points. Seeing how engaged I was, Patricia seized the opportunity again. Men who are dedicated to their work are so attractive, aren't they? Let me tell you, my brother is exactly the same. He might seem serious, but he's actually very kind. Plus, he's highly skilled at everything he does. His colleagues and supervisors all adore him. By lunch, we'd ordered takeout. As Patricia reluctantly sat down to eat with me, she kept talking. My brother is also an incredible cook. I love his food more than anything. The flavors are perfectly balanced. Even better than five-star restaurants. Absolutely unmatched. I swallowed hard and put down my chopsticks, pouring Patricia a glass of water. She'd been talking all morning. My ears were going numb from listening, yet she showed no signs of stopping. Patricia drank the entire glass in one gulp, then grabbed my hand pitifully. Claire, please just meet my brother once. I can tell you're perfect for each other. I sighed inwardly. Fine, I'll meet him once. Before Patricia could celebrate, I added quickly, but don't get your hopes up. We might not be compatible at all. Patricia didn't care what I said. With my agreement secured, she grabbed her purse and rushed off, not even finishing her lunch. Her efficiency was truly remarkable. I'd barely finished eating when her text arrived. 7:30 tonight, Celestial Western Restaurant. Don't even think about backing out. I wasn't really interested in meeting someone significantly older or younger than me. I figured I'd just find a polite way to decline after we met. Even though I treasured Patricia's kindness, I wouldn't gamble with my future happiness. But before the meeting, I had something else to handle. Lately, I'd been experiencing uncomfortable chest pain. I thought it might be stress-related, so I made an afternoon appointment for a checkup. At the hospital, the doctor examined me while asking various questions. Have you taken a pregnancy test? Are your periods regular? Have you been injured recently? My face flushed as I answered. Definitely not pregnant since I've never been intimate with anyone. My periods are regular. Haven't been injured. The doctor looked at me and signaled for me to button my shirt. Then he studied me with a serious expression that made my heart sink. Oh no, did I have something terrible? My good life was just beginning. I couldn't handle bad news now. I felt my blood run cold. Just as I was mentally preparing for the worst, the doctor finally spoke in that same stern tone. No lumps detected. Breast tissue appears normal. The pain is likely due to hormonal fluctuations. You're fine. Great, just great. Your expression made me think I was dying. I grabbed my bag, muttered a quick thanks, and hurried out. Anyone who ended up with this cold, serious man would probably spend their life annoyed by his terrible bedside manner. At 7:30 that evening, I arrived at Celestial Western Restaurant right on time. Patricia was already there, sitting across from a refined man wearing glasses. I glanced at him and thought he looked vaguely familiar. The man looked up just as our eyes met. He froze for a moment, then raised an eyebrow in recognition. What a coincidence. My expression fell. This was the same cold-faced doctor from the hospital that afternoon. When Patricia heard we'd already met, her eyes sparkled with excitement. She looked between us with barely contained glee. You two have already met. This is fate. This is wonderful. No, not wonderful at all. The thought of him having examined me that afternoon made my face burn with embarrassment. The man seemed equally uncomfortable, his cheeks flushing slightly. He cleared his throat and changed the subject quickly. Hello, Claire. I'm Nathan. I'm 32 years old. I blinked in surprise. Only 32? Patricia gave Nathan a teasing look. How interesting. You've been completely indifferent to every other date I've arranged. Why are you acting so different tonight? Seeing my confusion, Patricia squeezed my hand and explained. Our mother had Nathan quite late in life, so there's a significant age gap between us siblings. That made sense. I felt relieved and couldn't help smiling. Despite the awkward beginning, Nathan and I ended up having a wonderful conversation that evening. Just as Patricia had described, while he appeared stern and distant at first, he was actually gentle and thoughtful once you got to know him. Before we parted, I hesitated but finally asked what had been bothering me. Nathan, I did date your nephew. Doesn't that make things weird for you? Nathan glanced toward where his sister had left earlier, his face flushing slightly. Claire, do you know why our mother had me so late in life? He continued, my mother was originally married to the eldest son in her family, but he had fertility issues. When they couldn't conceive, family pressure mounted. Eventually, she had a relationship with his younger brother, and that's how Patricia was born. Later, after her first husband passed away, my mother married the younger brother, who'd remained a bachelor all those years. That's when I was born. I was completely stunned. No wonder Patricia had introduced me to Jordan and then Nathan without any hesitation right after my breakup with Marcus. Apparently, unconventional family arrangements weren't unusual for them at all. The days passed quickly. With Patricia's guidance, I became thoroughly familiar with company operations and started handling things confidently. I even managed to find time to meet with Nathan regularly. As for Marcus, he hadn't returned home since the engagement party. Rumor had it he'd booked a suite at a luxury hotel and was spending all his time with Vanessa. His carefree lifestyle didn't last long, though. Within weeks, all the money he'd saved over the years was gone. When he tried to use his supplementary credit card, he discovered Patricia had frozen it. Furious, Marcus called her. Mom, I need you to transfer $500,000 to me immediately. I'm out shopping and it's embarrassing. I can't even pay at checkout. Patricia replied with a cold laugh. Didn't you say you were capable of earning money to support your woman? Why are you asking me for cash now? Were your words just empty air? Marcus yelled into the phone, Mom, I'm telling you right now, I'm marrying Vanessa no matter what. If you keep refusing to accept her, you'll regret it. Patricia hung up and snorted. That scheming woman spends money like water. Marcus's savings won't last her much longer. Just wait. They'll come crawling back soon enough. Patricia knew her son well. On the autumn festival, Patricia invited Jordan and Nathan over, and the four of us prepared a feast together. Patricia hadn't been exaggerating about Nathan's cooking skills. They were truly impressive. Jordan and I ate with such enthusiasm that Patricia was absolutely delighted. Right in the middle of our meal, Marcus showed up, and Vanessa was with him. It hadn't been long since we'd last seen them, but Vanessa had clearly upgraded her wardrobe significantly. She wore an obviously expensive white designer dress, carried a luxury handbag, and had a dazzling diamond necklace around her neck. She looked radiant and confident. Patricia winked at me knowingly. See? I told you so. I stifled a laugh and nodded. No one knows a son better than his mother. Patricia gave the uninvited guests a cold look, her tone completely unwelcoming. What are you doing here? Marcus seemed surprised to see me there, his eyes shifty. Mom, what kind of greeting is that? This is my home. If others can be here, why can't I come back? Vanessa shot me a subtle glance and said sweetly while holding Marcus's hand, Marcus, you shouldn't talk to your mom that way. We haven't been home in weeks. Even if she won't say it, she must have missed us terribly. Patricia looked disgusted and simply motioned for us to continue eating, refusing to engage further. Vanessa's expression darkened as she gave Marcus a pointed look. Marcus stepped forward eagerly. Mom, we came to share wonderful news. You're going to be a grandmother. Aren't you excited? Patricia showed no excitement whatsoever. She studied Marcus and Vanessa quietly, saying nothing. Oblivious to his mother's displeasure, Marcus started searching around the house like an overexcited child. Mom, where did all the property deeds go? You must have moved them somewhere. Now that Vanessa's pregnant, we can't keep living in a hotel. Why don't you give us that downtown apartment? Patricia picked up her chopsticks, selected a piece of food, and ate without even glancing at him. No. I have other plans for that property. Marcus's jaw tightened. What about the one near City Hospital? Surely that would be fine. Patricia gave Marcus a sideways glance but didn't respond. No matter which property Marcus mentioned, Patricia refused every single one. Finally, Marcus snapped, his face twisted with frustration. Mom, we have so many properties, and they'll all be mine eventually anyway. What's the harm in giving me one now? Or do you really want to see Vanessa and me homeless? Patricia suddenly stood up, pointing her finger directly at Marcus's face. I may own plenty of properties, but every single one was earned through my hard work and sacrifice. What do any of them have to do with you? At the engagement party, you swore you'd give up all inheritance rights rather than lose Vanessa. Were those just empty words? If you think you're getting even 1 square foot of my property, keep dreaming. I won't leave you a single brick. Marcus's eyes went red with anger. Vanessa tugged his sleeve, tears forming in her eyes as she looked at Patricia. Mom, Marcus is your only son after all. You can't let me come between you two. Before Vanessa could finish, Patricia slammed the table. What did you just call me? Is your own mother dead that you're calling me mom? If I had a shameless daughter like you, I would have thrown her out long ago. Don't think I don't know what you're planning. You're trying to manipulate Marcus into getting money and property from me for your worthless family, aren't you? Well, I'm telling you now, it's never happening. As long as Marcus is with you, he won't get a single cent from me. I mean every word. Vanessa trembled from the harsh words, shrinking behind Marcus. Marcus looked shocked. Mom, I was just joking at the party. I'm your only son. If you don't leave your estate to me, who else would you give it to? Patricia nodded toward Jordan with a meaningful smile. Sweetheart, say hello to your brother. Jordan obediently stood and smiled at Marcus. Hello, brother. I'm Jordan. I'm Mom's biological son. Marcus looked like he might faint. Vanessa turned deathly pale and shouted, That's impossible. Half a minute later, Patricia had kicked them both out for being too noisy. Jordan quickly poured Patricia a drink to help her calm down. Nathan frowned with concern. Sis, they're not going to let this go easily. We all need to be careful for the next while. Nathan's prediction was absolutely right. Over the following days, Marcus called Patricia relentlessly, demanding information about Jordan and the asset distribution. After being blocked, he refused to give up and even went to the company to make a scene. Rumor had it Jordan had also been cornered by Marcus and Vanessa at his university. Outwardly, Patricia remained calm, but privately she took inventory of all her assets and then disappeared for an entire day. Unable to get money from Patricia and terrified of losing his inheritance entirely, Marcus panicked. One evening, Patricia came to pick me up from work. The moment we arrived home, we were confronted by Marcus, Vanessa, and her entire family. Vanessa's mother spoke first, her tone aggressive. Your Marcus is completely irresponsible. Not only did he secretly date my daughter, but he also got her pregnant. You owe us an explanation today, or this isn't over. Patricia looked disgusted. Your daughter was so desperate for a man that she crashed someone else's engagement party, and you as her mother have the nerve to say we're being unreasonable? Vanessa's mother, utterly shameless, kept pestering Patricia. Of course, you need to provide compensation. A car and a house at minimum. I won't ask for a Rolls-Royce. Just a car worth $1 million will do. The house needs to be that big villa in North District, plus another $5 million in cash. I nearly laughed from sheer disbelief. These people really had the audacity to demand the moon. Did they think Patricia's money grew on trees? When I glanced at Marcus, he was actually nodding along in agreement. What an absolute fool. The thought that I'd dated him for years made me want to be sick. Patricia was shaking with rage. Keep dreaming. Forget $5 million. I won't give you 5 cents. A shameless woman like your daughter deserves nothing. Get out of my house right now. Vanessa's mother became frantic. So you won't pay? Fine. I'll go to the police right now and report that your son assaulted my daughter. Patricia burst into wild laughter. Go ahead, call them. I've been wanting someone to teach that idiot a lesson for years. Hurry up. Better yet, have them come arrest him right now and lock him up for 10 or 20 years. Vanessa's mother stomped her feet in frustration. Marcus, his eyes red with fury, shouted at Patricia, Mom, I'm Dad's only son. The family money should rightfully be mine. How dare you treat me this way? Vanessa clung to Marcus's arm, weeping dramatically. Marcus, it's all my fault for not being good enough, for not winning your mother's affection. I'm the one who's dragged you into this. Suddenly, she clutched her stomach, her face going deathly pale as if she were about to collapse. Marcus panicked, shielding Vanessa with one arm while hurling his phone violently at Patricia's face. "She's carrying your grandchild. If anything happens to her, I'll never forgive you." Marcus moved too quickly for anyone to stop him. The phone hit Patricia's cheek, and her face immediately began to swell. My heart clenched painfully. "Marcus, have you lost your mind? She's your mother. This absolute idiot. After all her years of raising him, caring for him, giving him everything, he'd actually strike his own mother over some manipulative woman." Vanessa looked at me with obvious satisfaction. "Claire, Marcus already broke up with you. Why are you still hanging around shamelessly? This is between our families. What business is it of yours?" My anger burned hot, but before I could react, Nathan and Jordan rushed forward. Seeing Patricia's injury, their faces darkened with fury. Without a word, Nathan punched Marcus square in the face. Marcus clutched his nose in pain and raised his fist to retaliate, but Jordan lunged at him too. Although Marcus had an athletic build from his sports background, both Nathan and Jordan clearly had martial arts training. They attacked with precision, landing solid punches and kicks that left Marcus unable to defend himself effectively. Vanessa cowered nearby, terrified. Finally, Nathan kicked Marcus away and said coldly, "Just like your father. A complete fool." Marcus had always been devoted to his father's memory. Hearing this insult, his face already swollen, he roared hoarsely, "Don't you dare insult my dad." Nathan sneered mockingly. "Your father wasn't just stupid, he was selfish and cruel. Back when my sister lost her first child due to stress, your dad brought you home claiming you were an orphan, the child of a deceased friend with no living relatives. My sister, kind-hearted as she was, treated you as her own son. Even after she discovered you were actually his illegitimate child from his affair, she still accepted you and raised you as her own. And you ungrateful wretch, not only failed to appreciate her sacrifice, but you'd actually raise your hand against her for some gold-digging woman. Do you have no conscience at all?" The entire room fell into stunned silence. Everyone turned to look at Patricia. Marcus's mouth hung open in disbelief, but Patricia's silence confirmed everything. Marcus truly wasn't her biological son. Jordan, who had clearly just learned this as well, let out a furious shout and delivered another vicious kick to Marcus's leg. Marcus screamed in agony, clutching his leg as pain tore through him. Both Marcus and Patricia ended up at the hospital. Patricia's injuries were superficial and would heal with some ointment and time. Marcus, however, had suffered a broken leg and would need at least 3 months to recover. At the hospital, Patricia publicly produced a notarized will in front of everyone. The will clearly stated, first, Marcus is excluded from all inheritance rights. Second, her assets would be divided into 3 portions, one for Patricia and Jordan each, and one to be shared between Nathan and me. Marcus was dumbfounded. Vanessa glared at me with undisguised hatred. "Marcus has nothing anymore. Why does she still get a share?" Patricia glanced at Vanessa, her voice like ice. "It's my money and I'll give it to whoever I want. None of your business." Seeing Marcus's devastated expression, Patricia snorted. "All these years, your father never even held a proper job. Every household expense was covered by me. Since you're not my biological son, it's only natural I don't leave you my assets. Still, for the sake of the years I raised you, I'll give you the downtown apartment and an additional 1 million. You'd better make it count." Vanessa's mother's eyes lit up instantly, and she exchanged a greedy glance with Vanessa's father. Patricia waved her hand dismissively, telling them all to leave immediately. The group still seemed somewhat dissatisfied, but facing the icy expressions of Nathan and Jordan, they didn't dare utter another word and left shamefaced. In the following days, without Marcus and Vanessa causing problems, we lived in unusual peace. According to Nathan, during the first few days after Marcus was hospitalized, Vanessa would occasionally visit him. But after just 1 week, she stopped coming entirely. Along with her disappearance went the 1 million Patricia had given Marcus. As for the downtown apartment, it somehow ended up in Vanessa's hands. Rumor had it they were planning to use it as a wedding gift for Vanessa's younger brother. Marcus didn't want to believe it at first. But when his condition improved slightly and he went to find Vanessa in a wheelchair, he discovered her in another man's arms, laughing triumphantly. That fool Marcus actually thinks the baby I'm carrying is his, Vanessa was saying. The man hugged her tighter and asked jealously, so who's better, me or him? Vanessa giggled flirtatiously, but her words sent Marcus spiraling. Him? He's not even fit to compare to a single hair on your head. Marcus flew into a rage and rushed at them. Unfortunately, he was already injured and soon found himself at a severe disadvantage, beaten until he coughed up blood and lost consciousness. If Nathan hadn't noticed Marcus's absence from the hospital that day and tracked him down, Marcus might have been killed. When Marcus regained consciousness, he immediately contacted the police. Soon, Vanessa's entire family, along with the other man, were arrested and charged with fraud and theft. Vanessa was sentenced to 10 years in prison. In order to return all the stolen assets, not only did they have to give back the apartment and the $1 million, but they also had to pay substantial compensation. They borrowed money from everyone they knew, and when they had no other options, they even sold their own family home. Rumor has it that during this time, the whole family wailed in misery, living in absolute desperation. Because of the severity of Marcus's injuries, the man who assaulted him was sentenced to 5 years in prison. 4 months later, Marcus was discharged from the hospital. The first thing he did was beg Patricia for a meeting. She agreed and brought Nathan and me along. In less than half a year, Marcus seemed to have aged decades. He apologized tearfully to Patricia, then looked at me with guilt-filled eyes. "Claire, I know I was wrong. Can we start over?" Before I could even open my mouth to refuse, Patricia roared, "How dare you be so disrespectful? Claire is not for you to address so casually. Even if you must speak to her, you should call her auntie." Marcus looked as if he'd been struck again, his shocked gaze darting between Nathan and me. Nathan smirked slightly, taking my hand in his. I cooperatively flashed the engagement ring on my finger. "We're already engaged. The wedding is next month." Marcus left utterly dejected. 3 days later, he departed the city entirely. The next time we heard about him was 6 months after that. Rumor had it he'd moved to a small city out west where he became an ordinary physical education teacher. As for the rest of us, we continued with our busy but fulfilling lives. Patricia, I should call her my sister-in-law now, has since become a hands-off boss, living each day in carefree happiness. Nathan continues his work as a doctor at the hospital, though he's considerably warmer with patients now. Whenever he has free time, he cooks delicious meals for Patricia and me. Jordan's university entrance exam results were excellent. Patricia told him to choose whatever major he liked and not worry about the company, so Jordan happily chose to study art. It seems that managing the company will ultimately fall on my shoulders, but I don't mind. With Nathan by my side, Patricia's unwavering support, and Jordan as the little brother I never had, I've finally found the family I always dreamed of. And unlike Marcus, I know exactly how lucky I am and will never take it for granted. If you enjoyed this wild journey of betrayal, revenge, and unexpected family bonds, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for Lotus Tale Studios. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our next unbelievable story. Drop a comment below telling me what you would have done in Claire's situation, and check out our other videos for more jaw-dropping tales. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we have coming next. Until then, remember that sometimes the family you choose is better than the one you're born into. See you in the next story.